So what's good, y'all? My name is Ray,
I'm Marco.
and we are back with a very, very, very special episode. I think this is kind of like our first episode we've done it. This is our first playoff episode that's not the finals. So this is a crazy time. And we got the special guest with us. I want to introduce my guy, one of my homies. Shout out to my boy Jay Ditto, John Miner. Let's get it, bro. Talk about yourself, bro.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jonathan J. Ditto Minor, music savant, sports lover, and resident Boston Celtic fanatic. So we are here. I know, and I know I'm wearing a Lakers shirt today, so it's
That's
not.
crazy. That's
But
crazy, bro. See,
I
Marco, this is what I was telling you
noticed
about,
this,
bro. Marco,
bro.
this is what I was
Is that
telling you
that's
about,
just a Kobe
bro.
shirt?
yeah, man, it's just a Kobe shirt. I think it's this might be the 81 game, John. I don't know. I don't know what's on the back, but
Okay, we're
um,
okay. So yeah, before we talk about the playoffs, since this is Let a Game Pod, our podcast really is about teaching like a lot of people media literacy through basketball and health. For you, John, like how did you start loving basketball? Like what was like how did that come to be?
oh man, so there's really two parts to this story. Um,
Go ahead, bro. We a long pod, bro. Come on now.
So the first half, I remember, funny enough, y'all both from Philly. I was living in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. I don't know if y'all know where Bluebell is at.
I don't. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Hey, Philly.
That's in Montgomery. I live in Montgomery County, so that's like out by me, kind of. I just like further north than me, but yeah, I know what that's at.
Mad north, or it's up north. But yeah. And when I was living in out there, my pops, he was always a huge Vince Carter fan. And I remember my very first basketball memory is my dad showing me the clip of Vince Carter jumping over the 7-footer in the Olympics. And I remember being like, damn, that nigga could fly. Like, what is this? Like, I didn't, like, my brain couldn't comprehend what was happening on the screen.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And then, Ray knows I'm originally from New Jersey. Um, and if you live in New Jersey, especially northern New Jersey, you've hooped before. And I'm not just talking about you played basketball, like you've hooped. Like you got a little bit of a bag. You could probably, you know, do some crazy jellies or something like that. So when I moved back to New Jersey, um, my friends were all into basketball, and I got tired of getting my ass whooped playing pickup. So I took my ass to the gym. I started playing AAU, and man, I fell in love with the game. That was probably eighth or ninth grade, I'd say. So
Man,
yeah,
bro, that's lit. That's lit, bro. That's lit.
yeah.
I know since North Jersey is a thing, like y'all got a lot of hoopers. Do you ever play against anybody like notable, or you were just like kind of like just in the circuit?
So man, when I was younger, I was ass, but I wanted to be around the hoopers for real. So I would
Yeah,
do other stuff, and I had a few good friends of mine, notably Jabri Abdurrahim, was a really good friend of mine. He was the New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
heard Jersey. We're gonna
Um,
put that. We're gonna put that in the pod for sure.
type. Yeah, shout out to Bree, man. That's my brother right there. Some other great hoopers I grew up around, like Noah Farrakhan, um, Four Seasons, if you look him up. Um, but yeah, man, I just wanted to be on the game. So, at 5'8", I was like, what can I do to, be around the hoopers?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
started selling shoes. And I would get like, EYBLs in smaller sizes that
Oh,
maybe
that's
people
tough. That's
couldn't
tough.
get, or, selling gear like Supreme and stuff like that to the players. And I was just around all the time because I had shoes. And I even would bring a camera with me to games just to get in the gym, just so I could watch the game. Um, so yeah, I said I think like just growing up in Jersey, you get to see so many stars that it's insane, man.
Yeah.
My pops took me to go see Kyrie Irving and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist when I was a youngin'. That
Yeah.
was
Oh wait, we got to put the photo up there where with bro. Yeah, we met bro.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we met him. We met him, bro.
We met, bro. We did meet, bro. So
Yeah.
shout out to Patrick
Shout out
School.
MKG, bro.
Yeah, man. Shout out MKG. Shout out Kyrie. Um, Man, watching that Hudson Catholic team in high school, Javon Quinterly, there was a dude named Lewis King on that team. Man,
Yeah, yeah, he made the NBA, I think.
He
He was
did.
on the Sixers. There was one season where technically he averaged 20 points because he played the last game for us against the Knicks. So we had 4 20-point scores because it was Embiid, Harden, Maxey, and Luke King.
Facts, man. Shout out to Luke King, man. Shout out to Luther Muhammad was also on that team. That was a great team.
Mm,
Man, I mean, I never actually got to see Cat play, but I played AAU and his pops is a pretty notable coach. That's how Cat got to where he was at. So
true. Facts, 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 bro. Shout out to I don't know his name, but shout out Big Cat, bro. Shout out
uh,
Big Cat. So yeah, with that being said, Cat, he's gonna be in the playoffs. It's kind of gonna be crazy. Before we talk about the playoffs, though, we want to talk about the play-in. This is a fairly new, recent addition to the NBA. If you don't know, it's where it's originally 8 teams in the playoffs. They extended it to 10 teams. And basically the bottom 4 teams, so the 6 seed to the 10 seed, play 1 to 2 games in order to get a spot within the playoffs. Um, so I'll probably put a little graphic there just so it's more understandable. But we'll start with the West first. The Warriors, which are the 10 seed, they're gonna go against the Clippers. John, since you're our guest, who do you have winning and why?
man, so that's a great game to start off with because these teams actually played last night. So
Literally, literally, bro. Literally, and they play without Kawhi too, which is crazy.
facts. No Kawhi. Pods played a lot of the game, and I think he might actually be the X factor in this game. If Pods is hitting his shots and he's facilitating at a really high level and not making bonehead decisions, uh, the Warriors are going to be able to, Steph, as killer as he is as the point guard, he's an off-ball guy. He
Yeah,
really likes to run around, catch and shoot. So if you can get other people involved that can really comfortably keep the ball on a string and, move the ball around, it's only gonna open up Steph's game more. So I feel like Pods is gonna have to really step up for them to win. I think a lot of the stuff that I saw out of Matherin yesterday too, especially
mhm,
in the first half, I
yeah,
think he had 13 going into the first half on like really good efficiency.
yeah,
He needs to have the same scoring impact to be effective for the Clippers. Brook Lopez in the first half picked up 3 quick fouls, I think in one possession.
yeah.
He's gonna have to keep his hands to himself because he's, their starting center. So it's gonna be a toss-up, man. But I think, I'm taking Golden State in that matchup. I think that Kerr and Curry just want it super bad. And Steve
I see
Kerr
it.
wants
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
retire. Bruh been coaching for dumb long. He wants to retire. So he wants to make it out with a ring or at least
Yeah.
put up
Yeah.
a fighting chance. So
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of weird. I feel the same way. It's really a toss up. I think it's gonna really come down to the bench. And as much as I really want to say, like, because Steph Curry's my guy, like, as much as I really want to root for the Warriors, I feel like this is a game that they usually lose. And I say that because, like, Kawhi Leonard's coming in this game with potentially like an all NBA season. I know we talked about him last episode. Um, you got to also give credit to Darius Garland, who kind of fits in perfectly with the Clippers so far. This is an underrated duo that I think not a lot of people expected. Um, like Chris Dunn, I feel like he's a great defensive player. He really impacts games. I think he's gonna give Steph Curry at least a lot of difficulty, at least because I think Steph Curry is gonna perform because it's Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? I think Steph Curry and Kawhi are gonna be, obviously they're gonna be there. It's just gonna be everybody else, which is like who I think is gonna factor in. But I think because the Clippers have more of like I guess like a known personnel because with a lot of the Warriors guys, like you don't really know who they are unless you're a Warriors fan for real. Like Guy Santos, we know who he is, but like your average
bucket.
NBA, yeah, your average NBA fan doesn't really know who that is. Um, so I think just based on the fact that the Clippers kind of have a little bit more of a solid personnel, I got them winning this game. Cole, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one because I think if it was like a full series, I might lean more toward the Clippers. But I don't know. In a one game setting, like Steve Kerr has like I know he gets like a lot of people are kind of like polarized on Steve Kerr at this point, like in his coaching career. But I think he's like proven to me enough times that he's like risen to the occasion in the playoffs. And like Steph Curry obviously is like one of the greatest players of all time. Um, and like obviously we got Kawhi on the other side, who like in my opinion is an All NBA first team player this year, just like an absolutely amazing year. and Steph Curry's been like a little bit hindered by injuries. So like we'll see how that plays out. But I'm a little bit too much worried about the Clippers front court, especially after trading Zubac, because now they're like relying on Brook Lopez, who like at this point in his career is not really the guy I want to anchor in my defense. So I think I'm probably leaning the Warriors in like a 1 game setting. I think I'm always really like not surprised with their depth, but I always come away from like Warriors games like pretty impressed by their depth.
Yeah.
Like you talked about Pajemski, John. Like I think Pajemski, like if you only looked at TikTok, you would think he's the worst player ever. But I think he's a pretty good rotational player. Like I think that Pajemski, like night in and night out, is like it's like yeah, like is his shot diet kind of annoying sometimes? Like yes, but I think he like the defense is pretty good. He gets up threes, he makes them. He's a solid connective passer. It's not like he's going to turn the ball over a lot. And like I personally like as a Sixers fan, I'm pretty high on D'Anthony Melton as well.
Oh yeah,
Um,
facts. Shout out
I
Melt, bro.
know
He's nice.
I
Yeah,
know
he's really nice.
the I know he's had like his playoff woes, like especially on my team, but I think he's a very valuable guy who impacts the possession game, and he just does a lot of things that like impact winning. And I think he's a really nice guard to have next to Steph Curry, because so space the floor, play defense, generate turnovers, create extra possessions on the offensive glass. And then Draymond, like I know he missed yesterday's game. I would assume he would be back tomorrow unless I'm like missing something. I saw he was day to day, so I'm assuming he
Yeah.
plays tomorrow. Like I just don't think Draymond sits out. And yeah, I mean he's getting older, but he's still like a very valuable defensive player and one of the greatest playoff defenders of all time. So it's hard for me to bet against Curry, Draymond, and Kerr like in this type of situation, even though Kawhi Leonard's on the other side, and I know firsthand how deadly he could be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I think this is gonna be again like a really suspenseful game. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with that matchup. On the other side, the seven-seeded Suns are going up against the eight-seeded Trailblazers. Now, I have the Suns winning this game. But I also want to give credit to the Trailblazers because I think a lot of people don't understand that this team has gone through a major coaching change, a lot of different roster changes throughout these couple of years, and has managed to like quickly, um, kind of establish themselves as a young budding team. I like their defensive tendencies. I like Robert Williams. Shout out to Tumani Kamara. I think a lot of those guys are very great defensive key pieces. However, I feel like because the Suns have a little bit more experience with Devin Booker and Dylan Brooks, I think they're going to squeeze this one out, personally.
Yeah, I feel like the Suns specifically, they have a lot of talent on the team. My one gripe with them is that they're extremely ball dominant, just with, the amount of guards that they run.
Yeah.
I think they started the other night, I think it was Jordan Goodwin, Book, Jalen Green, Brooks, and then Mark Will. That's four shooting guards and a center. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
get that. Yeah, 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 yeah. I see what you're saying.
and and when we talk about on-ball defenders, I mean, the Trailblazers have a wealth of them. You have Drew Holiday, former Celtic and
Yeah.
champion for the Celtics, don't you forget. Great on-ball defender. And now he's only averaging zero point 0.8 steals per game this year, but that's basically a steal. And
Mm,
he's still a really great disruptive guy. You got Kamara, 1.5 steals post All-Star game per game. That's a crazy stat. The dude can guard literal 1 through 5 and can hold his own against some centers, wiry ones. Um, and then you got Matisse Thybulle,
oh
who
yeah, facts, facts, facts. Yeah.
I know he might not play. It's kind of hard to tell when the brother going to play, but he's averaging 2 steals post All-Star game on the season since he's played this year. So if they can get him out there and disrupt a lot of that guard play that the Suns are going to be, I mean, the majority of their offense is through that guard play. Disruption is going to be the biggest thing. And then once you get through those point defenders, you got Klingon in the paint, who's a big body, my boy Donovan Clingan is averaging 13.2 points per game and 11, almost 12 rebounds post All-Star game. So he's been playing out of his mind. The young fella's got it. He's got energy. And yeah, man, Ray, I like your pick of the Suns, but I might have to go the Trailblazers, man. I'm a betting man, you
I'm not
know?
mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. On Love the Game, we don't promote betting.
My bad, my bad.
You're
We're not
good.
gonna bet. We're not gonna bet.
But yeah, so like, yeah, Cole, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I think I would lean Suns in this, but I do agree with what Jonathan was saying about like the Suns like ability to share the ball. Like one thing I was thinking is like I think Jordan Ott, the coach of the Suns, is like low key an X factor in this matchup. Because you read off the starting lineup and like one guy who I think is like one of the best players on the Suns who didn't start in that game, is Colin Gillespie. And I think like at a certain point, we saw how Jalen Green played in the playoffs last year. It wasn't pretty other than one magnet ball game. I wondered how Jordan Knott like goes about that, like if he's willing to pull the trigger and like give Jalen Green's minutes to Colin Gillespie if it isn't going well, like for the betterment of the team.
Mm.
And I like what you said about Donovan Clingan too. Honestly, at this point, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Um, I feel like centers who like really anchor the defense kind of don't get their shine unless they're on like a really really great team. Like like Chet Holmgren, like gets his due because he's on like the Thunder, like somebody like that. And not to say Kling is as good as Chet Holmgren because at this point in his career, he's definitely not. But I think he's like a very, very, very impactful player, and I think that um, I don't think a lot of people like really give him his due yet, and I'm sure they will in due time. But like he's even spacing the floor at a really high level this year, along with like the rim protection and the pass and stuff that he does. So he's actually kind of been not one of them like I wouldn't say one of my favorite players yet, but he's a player that I've like really enjoyed watching this year. Like every time I tune into a Trailblazers game. But with that being said, I just think the way that the Suns like dominate the possession game, like getting like just not turning the ball over and like getting a lot of offensive rebounds, I think is like really valuable. And like the Portland Trailblazers, they also get a lot of offensive rebounds, but they do turn the ball over a lot more so than any team in the NBA. So
Mm.
I kind of gonna go against them in this, like solely because of that. But I think this is a match I'm like really excited to watch because I think both of these teams are like pretty unique and have like kind of bought into the win your way thing. Where it's like they really value like the possession game and like sharing the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, I definitely like kind of like one more thing, because I feel like Dylan Brooks is also going to be a huge X factor because he's having such a dominant season this year. I think a lot of people aren't necessarily expecting him to perform up to the standard that I feel like he's going to perform this play in. So I'm really excited to see kind of how he steps up because Book is going to get most of those coverages, you know. Um,
Mhm.
so
For
yeah.
sure.
Um, it will be the 7 seeded Sixers versus the 8 seeded Magic. Um, Marco, who do you have as the winner of this game, bro?
I don't know, man. I've been like sitting on this one for a while. I think I probably go Magic because they're like as healthy as they've ever been. And
Mm,
it's like, I don't know, like Paolo, he's kind of like a confusing player. He's not a guy I'm like extremely high on, but I've also seen him like turn into LeBron James against the Sixers when he decides that he's just going to get to the rim and get to the line like 15 times
mm,
and he'll drop like 30 and 10. Like he has the ability to be super impactful, but the thing is like the consistency just is not there. Because he like settles and stuff like that. But all in all, I just think that they're gonna have like more talent on the floor than us. To be quite honest with you, because I'm somebody who's very high on Franz and I'm very high on Jalen Suggs. I think those are like some of the most impactful players like in the league. But the thing is, those two are just always hurt all the time. So like I don't really think they get a chance to like show it like they I would like them to, if that makes sense. But the fact of the matter is they will be out there on Wednesday night against us. So along with Desmond Bain and then like Anthony Black is fried us this year too. I just think they'll have more talent on the
Joe B
floor
is hooping.
than we will. So I don't know, I think I lean the Magic. Um, but I'm not confident either way because I think there's like a lot of volatility with both of these teams because like there is talent on both sides. You just don't know
Yeah,
who's gonna go off that night in a one game set.
yeah, yeah. Nah, John, you can give your pick and then I'll go after you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ko, I feel like volatility was like the perfect word to use for the two teams. And you mentioned Suggs, who I think is like a hell of a defender. He's got almost two
Yeah,
full
yeah.
steals per game
He
on
should be
the
all defensive team one day, bro.
He definitely should. He definitely should, man. And I think if he could have played some more games this year and kind of commanded a little bit more presence, I feel like it really could have been his year because he was defending the hell out of the ball. The one thing that I do want to point out, and it might not even end up being a huge issue, but post All-Star break, Jalen Suggs is averaging 2.8 turnovers per game. So that's almost three. turnovers per game for a guy that's only averaging around 5 assists per game. That's not
Yeah, that's
great.
not the ratio. Yeah.
Just get the
That's not
ball up
not a great
fast.
ratio. So, but the thing that gives me hope, I guess, for the Magic in that case is that they run a lot of point forward action where you have Franz or Paolo a lot of the times really bringing the ball up, and that's pretty apparent in that Paolo's been leading the team in assists post All-Star break, which has been great. Another stat that I saw is that over the last 10 games, the Magic's two top 3-point shooters by volume, which are Paolo and Franz. Or well, Desmond Bain is in there. I'll omit him because he's actually shooting pretty well, so he doesn't fit into my stat. But we'll come back to Desmond Bain. Paolo is at 20 points per game on the last 10 games, 29% from three, 10 games played. Now he's a chucker, so 29, it might look a lot better because he's hitting a few, but and then Franz, in only 5 games played because he's been dealing with that injury, he's at around 23% from three on a
Mm-hmm.
game. So these dudes are kind of shooting a lot-ish, and they're not hitting at an insanely high clip.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on Desmond Bain a lot, and then also the young fella Jamal Cain um, to just shoot the shit out of the ball because their star players aren't really hitting at that level yet. VJ is at around 18.6 points per game post All-Star. Um, and he'll have to be pretty careful going into this matchup because he's averaging almost 3 personal fouls per game right now. And you want to play your best players a lot longer in the playoffs, so he's going to have to
Yeah.
keep his hands to himself,
Yeah.
be able to be impactful then. But yeah, man, Joel being out really hurts a lot, but I do have faith in Maxi to do something. I just don't know if the rest of the team is going to be able to bring it all in.
Even though I'm down, I feel like I got us in a one game series because I think this Magic team to me is very, like you said, very volatile. They still do not have an identity, and it's really clear that like they're not connected as well as I feel like the Sixers are, at least in the games that I watch. There's games like literally like the game against Boston, bro. They should have beaten the Celtics and they got 30 ball. They got like cooked by Baylor Scheinman and Luka Garza. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
he's tough.
Like,
'Cause he's
like
tough. He can shoot. He's tough.
I mean,
My fault. I'll
yeah,
be quiet.
they
My
tough.
fault. Wrong second.
They cool, but like if you're the Magic, bro, you can't be losing games like that, especially with the playoff spot on the line, especially when you have more experience than like a Baylor Shireman. I'm not gonna say Luka Garza because I think he was on that 2024 team, right? Am I tripping?
Nah,
Or was
nah.
he on
He's
the
on
Wolves
the,
then?
he's on the Timberwolves, and I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
okay, okay, okay. All right, so he's been okay. My fault, my fault. But yeah, like they have more experience than those type of guys, and I feel like that's a game that you really have to win. Now, I've also seen they got what was the 50 piece by Toronto, I think, right?
Yeah, that was an ugly
So
game.
like there's games where they've shown that like they can't really be consistent, and a lot of that again goes to what you said with shooting. Like I feel like when it comes down shot for shot, oddly enough, I got Maxi and VJ over Paolo and Franz, shot for shot. Because I feel like when it comes down to it, they're gonna make threes at a higher level. Even with VJ not having a like a really clear offensive game. I think even as a rookie right now, his game is not nowhere near polished, but he's still really good. And Paul George is coming off of a great 10 game stretch, I think. I don't know how many games it's been since he's been suspended or since he's
Yeah,
come
10.
back. But I think like I genuinely think we have a shot. Like, you got Justin Edwards who's been playing well off the bench. Kelly Oubre, I think he's gonna produce. I think we got some guys. And it's gonna obviously come down to a lot. I think coaching is gonna be a major key between this matchup. So we'll see. We'll see. But I got faith in us. So now for this next matchup, we got the 9 seeded Hornets against the 10 seeded Heat. John, who is your choice? Because I know this is gonna be a crazy game.
Man, this is gonna be my favorite game, I think, of all the playing games, man. Let me tell
Mm,
you about that dog in Charlotte. Con Knipple is the X factor, and he is the guy.
he's true. He's
Uh,
the truth, bro.
he really is, man. He's averaging 24.5 points per game versus the Heat on the season. So he's been torching them all year. You got Musa Diabate, who's averaging 2 stocks a game since the All-Star break. He's been playing out of his mind, so hopefully he'll be able to contain Mr. 80 ball himself, Bam Adebayo.
You're 83.
Man, and and then Melo is also averaging 23.7 points against the Heat on the season. So, man, if Knipple and Melo can get super hot, it's going to be hard for the Heat to defend them. Now, the one thing that really carries them is that they are a great defensive team. Four of their five starters are averaging at least a steal per game. Tyler Hero is the only one not averaging a steal per game. He's at like 0.7, so he's almost there. And you have two averaging at least a block.
Yeah.
Um, the thing that hurts them offensively is the drop that Norman Powell has taken post All-Star. Brother went from 23 points per game down to, I think he's at like 17 or maybe even lower, maybe 16 at the moment. So that's like, a 7 point swing
Yeah.
post All-Star is not what you want from your top scorer.
Yeah.
I think Bam's gonna have to come in big, but man, I got the young fellas in this one, man. Give me the Hornets. I think if Knipple can hit shots, Musa can play defense, Kalkbrenner can play defense, and LaMelo can just go out there and have fun. It's going to be hard for the Heat to just keep up with the scoring that they'll be able to put.
Yeah, Cole. What about you, bro? What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I also got the Hornets as well. I think just like with how great they've been playing recently, I think that like it's kind of crazy that they're like a playing team. Like it's kind of crazy how it
Bro,
shook out
yeah.
because they're not like the level of a playing team going into the play. And like I think that I don't know. I want them to win because I want them to make the playoffs because I think them in a playoff series would be really fun. I don't know, but I don't like. I wouldn't want to face the Hornets if I was the Sixers too. So I kind of want the Hornets to win because I want them to be in, but I kind of am like scared to face them. You know what I mean? But yeah, regardless, no, I think man, shout out to the Hornets though, bro. Like I
Yeah.
before the season
Yeah.
started, like I this was the first year I'd like ever faded them just because I was like, you know what, they burned me so many times with how many injuries they've had. I'm like, I'm just gonna factor in the injuries. Mind you, LaMelo Ball, 2025, he played 47 games. 2024, he played 22.
Yeah.
2023, he played 36. This year he
Yeah.
played 70 games. So like the one year and
Yeah.
finally like I'm out on them, he comes back and like plays enough games to make all NBA and like he has a real case for making it. And
Yeah.
like you said, Con Nicholas came in and been one of like the most impactful rookies I've ever seen.
Crazy.
And then Musa Diabate, like you said, like that's my goat. The Hornets, they have the best offensive rebound influence according to like the six factor rankings, and this like a lot of that is just thanks to Musa Diabate. I just think he's just so amazing and just allows that team to like have their identity be to chuck threes. So like I don't know, we talked about volatility in the last one when you shoot as many threes as the Hornets do, like you are susceptible to having like a bad game where you lose. But they've been top 10 in net efficiency and top and ninth in like net possessions just because of how well they offensive rebound and defensive rebound and like how well they shoot threes. So I think I'm betting on them like and anything could happen in a one game series, but I think honestly this is probably the game I'm like the most confident about in the play is Hornets over D.
Yeah, I mean, to add on to y'all, I got the Hornets, bro. And I think honestly, a part of it low key is kind of like LaMelo Ball bias, because like come on, bro. Like he's kind of like a hoop legend, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like there was like you said, like he was out for so many games. There was a point where I was thinking like, dang, like LaMelo low key might be out the league, and I thought he was gonna be the one, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like to see this kind of be like to see the Hornets in this position but in like a real positive position is actually just like it's amazing to see as a LaMelo like supporter throughout the years. The Hornets are coming off a historic 9 game win streak in order to get them even in this position. Um, I know we mentioned like there was a point where the Hornets I think were like the 6th seed, and I think they lost like a couple games and now they're back in the play-in. But it doesn't seem like this team should be a play-in team. Like I feel like y'all said, they're playing above a level like that I think a lot of other teams that are in the playoffs or in the play-in, excuse me, like they can't match. These players really trust their coach. Charles Lee, I think, has been really, really, really great these
He's been
past couple
amazing. Yeah,
years.
yeah. I should have mentioned
Also,
him. Shout out to
I
Charles Lee. He's been
I heard
amazing.
I heard he was I think he's also from like the Joe Mazzulla tree.
Yes.
Like that
Okay,
that's what
that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah,
like
I like that.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Nah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
So yeah, bro. So I think these players really trust in Charles Lee in a way that I think the Heat have shown that they don't really trust Spo, at least this season. In the beginning though, like they had a great offense, that whole wheel offense scheme. The players are really buying in, but I think as of late they've been kind of like a little bit stagnant. And that credit to you, John, because you're talking about the Norman Powell points per game drop. I think a lot of those small things factor in, especially with the Bam 83 game. I think there's also other pressures with Bam to be like this new um I guess like this new I don't like there I think now the expectations of the Heat are drastically different now because of a lot of things that have happened throughout the season. And I think the Hornets have relatively been just an underdog throughout this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being the eight seed in the playoffs. Because I just have a lot of faith in what they got over there, and their bench seems real connected. They have a great spew of veterans and young players. You know, shout out like a guy like Grant Williams, Kobe White, I think is very underrated. Um, I can kind of go down the list. I feel like Trey Mann doesn't get enough playing time as I think he should, but like I kind of want to give him a little shout out. But yeah, just like those are a couple guys that I feel like have definitely impacted just how these Charlotte Hornets teams. I guess this Charlotte Hornets team has like kind of like played this year. So yeah.
I hope they don't fall victim to Tyler Hero playing Magic because he's been like a playing goat.
He might, bro.
He's the-
And that boy
He might turn
Como.
up. He might turn up.
Hey, man, it gets nice outside and Tyler Harris just starts cooking. I don't know where
Yeah,
that shit.
bro. Bro, I mean,
Bam
hey,
Adebayo, Jersey legend too. I've never seen him in New Jersey, but according to Google, he's from Newark, so he good
oh
in my
for
book.
real?
Yeah, shout out to Bam Adebayo,
Yeah,
man.
shout out Bam. Shout out Bam, bro. Okay, so now we are in the playoff portion of this episode. Before we talk about the matchups, I want to give like a huge shout out to the one seed Pistons, the one seed Thunder, and then the two seed Celtics and the two seed Spurs. I feel like a lot of like all of these teams are obviously championship contenders. Um, it's good. I don't really know how this is gonna match up, but I wanted to get you guys' perspectives on these teams, just what you guys thought about.
Yeah, man. So I mean, the Pistons getting Cade back, that's the most rejuvenating thing for that team, man. I think
Yeah, yeah.
have, to have a player like Jenkins play out of his mind the way he has, I
Bro,
mean,
Dennis Jenkins, bro, he's been giving us problems all year, bro.
dude,
He's
he
been
came out of
killing us, bro.
nowhere.
He's been
He came
killing
out
us,
of
bro.
nowhere. He's been killing.
Yeah.
Um, so to have him just in the tuck, basically, and you got Cade as the dude, providing the offense. I mean, shit, it's gonna be hard to beat that team. They're great. You got Duran playing out of his mind.
Oh, he's from
After,
Philly, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
okay, okay, shout
Yeah.
out to Philly. Shout out to Philly. I'll concede that. I'm trying to think. Does the Pistons have a Jersey representative? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but maybe it'll come back to me. Asar Thompson, Energizer. Yeah, man, I love the makeup of this team. I think that they're really disciplined to be so young, and Cade running the show. It's that dude's spectacular, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I'll just like go through and like kind of get my thoughts. I don't think any of the one or two seeds in the West, the Thunder or the Spurs, could be upset. I don't think the Celtics could be upset. To be honest, I don't really think the Pistons can be upset either, but I do think it gets interesting. Um, if like Cade is kind of not himself and they have to play like the Hornets, I think it could get a little bit
Mm,
interesting.
mm.
But if you look at it like without Cade, the Pistons have still had a 6.8 net rating, which is still really, really great. But the thing is, when teams are missing their primary creator in the playoffs, I feel like net rating can kind of like not necessarily go out the window, but could be like a little bit overrated. Because when Cade is on the floor, the Pistons have a 121.6 offensive rating, which is really good. And then when he is off the floor, they have a 114.5, which is like pretty well below average.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that could come back to bite you in a playoff series. I know they have one of the best defenses in the league, whether Cade is on or off the floor, which I honestly think is pretty awesome. Like, because it's like the Pistons, and they have like the most Pistons team like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ever right now for like
Yeah.
when they're
Ooh.
good again. But I think when you're missing a guy who elevates your offense to that level, it gets tough, especially in playoff time, where like half court offense is like much more prominent. But I do think they win. In the end, even if they are playing the Hornets, I think, because I think Cade will be back, and I think he'll be fine, and I think he'll play well. Like I'm sure he's
Mm.
like been able to. I'm sure he'll like get his feet back underneath him and stuff. But I just think all four of these teams are just really good, and I don't really see any of the playing teams other than the Hornets as like a true threat to like any of
Mm.
them.
Yeah, nah, I think that's a really good takeaway because I feel the exact same way. Um, So, with the playoffs starting, I think this is probably one of the most talked about series just because of all the injuries surrounding it. The Lakers against the Rockets. I feel like this series is going to be very interesting given all the circumstances. I think this might be a little bit of a hot take, but this I'll explain why. I have the Lakers in seven.
Where you going with this? All right. Okay.
But I think I think if LeBron, I think if you get a healthy like two masterpiece performances by LeBron. Like I think literally just a healthy two. And that's to help extend this series in order for a Luka Doncic to get back. I just saw a report that he's coming into LA like right from Spain in order to get ready for the playoffs because he's been receiving like injections on his hamstring and stuff like that. So he's really trying to make an early recovery. And I think if the Lakers can at least get a masterpiece performance out of Bron for 2 games, I think they might be able to pull it off. And now I know it's going to be hard because you got DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart who are not really offensively as like focused as you would say like a Rui Hachimura or even like a Austin Reeves who's hurt right now. But I think even though like there's a lot of factors that the Rockets have, like, they're eighth in offensive rating, sixth in net rating. They're the best offensive rebounding team in terms of like percentage wise. I do think, however, star power wise and collectively, if Los Angeles can just lock in, I think they can pull this one out, honestly.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of afraid for Aiton because Sengun's been kind of quiet to end the season off, but man, he's gonna cook him. I don't see a world where
Yeah,
DeAndre Ayton can't
yeah.
guard Alperen Sengun. Nor do I really see a world where the Lakers have anyone that can keep up with Amen Thompson. Just
Mm.
the look at me just talking about the Thompson twins back and forth, but bro, like they are some of the best athletes in the game right now.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you have somebody with lateral quickness and vertical power, they can't guard them at all. I think that in the matchup, Reed Shepherd hits his shots, Kevin Durant hits his shots, it gets really, really, really scary for the Lakers, especially with Sengun playing at the top of his game. So I think you're right, Ray. It is going to take a LeBron James masterclass to put up a good fight.
Cole, what you think, bro?
Yeah, I am pretty high on the Rockets, and I wasn't necessarily very high on the Lakers when they were fully healthy, and they're missing Luka and Austin Reeves, and like kind of even lower. I don't know. LeBron is like low key been better as like a first option than he was like a second or third option this year,
He's been
which
hooping recently, bro.
I'm
Yes.
not sure that's like a great thing if you're the Lakers. I think you would kind of want him to be like a better second or third option, but it works out for them now because they're missing the other two players, so he's going to have to be a first option. But yeah, I mean the Rockets has been so good recently, and they've been pretty good throughout the entire season. It's kind of hard for me to bet against them in this matchup. Yeah, like what you said about him and Thompson since the All-Star break, he's been absolutely amazing. I think he just took like over the league in dunks, which is kind of crazy from somebody who's like technically running the point guard. Even though it's a little bit confusing, like he's point guard like positionally, but with how the NBA works, he's not like facilitating the offense, kind of just running through KD and Sengun like sometimes I'm in. But
Right.
yeah, it's pretty amazing that somebody who's like technically the point guard is like leading the league in dunks right now. And yeah, KD just another amazing year from him. Definitely first or definitely I think second team All NBA this year. Just super efficient offense and against like even some of the best defenses in the NBA, he's like even taking his like level up. And not that the Lakers are one of the best defenses in the NBA. That's actually like kind of where they struggle at this point. And yeah, if my one question for the Rockets would be their offense aside from like KD, I guess, but it's not even really a question when the Lakers have like the 20th best defense in the NBA. So I just think the Rockets are like a really, really strong team right now. I wish the Lakers were at full strength because I think this would be like a really, really fun series to watch.
Yeah, I think like if on the other side of the West, the two teams that are locked in, you have a rematch from the Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets against the Timberwolves. This is gonna be a crazy series, bro. And I don't know, man. Like, John, you can start it off, bro. Who do you got, bro?
I got Nas Reed and the Timberwolves, Jersey's finest, coming out. Nah, man. I mean, it's gonna be really hard to beat the Nuggets. I mean, every time you see Jokic play, you're like,
Yeah,
how do you
bro.
guard that, bro? And then
Yeah,
when
bro.
Jamal Murray gets the ball at the top of the key on, a dribble handoff or, a pick and roll, that dude is like when he has a head full of steam and he's going downhill, one of the best scoring guards in the game.
Mm.
And yeah, man, but Ant-Man is such a
Yeah, man.
dog.
Yeah.
He wants that shit so bad.
Yeah, bro.
And the surrounding cast around him, especially with the pickup of the Sumu, I hope I'm saying
Bro.
it
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like Bones Highland taking a jump this year, it's
Hmm.
all worked in the Timberwolves' favor, man. And yeah, man, I think that Nas Reed and the boys can get it done. So I'm going with the Timberwolves. I would love to see them win this matchup.
How
But
many
yeah,
games?
I think this might go to 7, bro. It,
Okay.
it, it could end
It,
in
it, it
6.
definitely could be. It could be, bro.
It definitely could
Definitely
go to
could be.
7 though, because Jokic doesn't. Well, I don't know if Jokic cares. Jamal Murray doesn't want to lose, but Ant is just man. He's that guy, man.
Yeah, yeah, nah, I feel you.
Team on his
Um,
back.
yeah, Cole, what do you got, bro?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I think this is as good as you get for like a 3-6 matchup. You got the team with the eighth best net rating and the 10th best net rating in the NBA, so they're pretty evenly matched. I think I think I lean Nuggets in this one. They've had the best offense in the NBA this year. I
Mm,
think in the past they've shown that they can like buckle down and get stops when they need to, even though their defense has been pretty bad this year.
mm,
Um, I think I'm a little bit lower on this Timberwolves team than I have been teams in the past. Based on like the loss of like Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Mike Conley just like getting older. I do love what you said about Bones Highland. I love Bones. He's from Northern Delaware. It's like the
LTG
pretty
legend.
close to the Philadelphia area. So I really do like Bones. I've been happy for him. I've been advocating for him this year, like a lot. So I hope he steps in and like fills in Mike Conley's role like well. But I think Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander Walker are like two of the biggest like reasons the Timberwolves have been like so great in the playoffs and like losing that and they've already been like very similar to the Nuggets in
Mm.
like the playoff matchups I think is gonna be tough. And I know Julius Randle's dealing with an injury right now too. And he's like kind of a guy that's been a factor. I know Peyton Watson's out for the Nuggets. We'll see. I think this will be an interesting series. This is kind of like going to teach me a little bit about basketball and the fact that a team with a really great offense and a really bad defense is going to be out there against a team with a good offense, with a solid offense and a really good defense. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this one because I really don't know which way to lean. I think I'm going to lean the team with the best offense in the league, but I think this is going to be a fun series and it's going to teach me a lot about basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make it quick just so we can like, make time and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I think I have the Wolves in 6. And I think just because like, I think even though the Nuggets have their number, the Nuggets are 3-1 against the Wolves this year. I think Anthony Edwards is kind of a psychopath. Like I think he's super competitive, bro. And I think the fact that they beat them 3 times to 1, and this is a playoff setting, I think he's going to be really driven to prove the point that he is who he thinks he is, like one of the best players in the league, if not the best, right? I think that's a lot of his critics have been challenging Ant to really rise to his peers like a SGA or like a Luca. Um, I also think to your point, John, I would assume was going to be a huge X factor for this series. I think a big reason why I have the Wolves winning this game is because I think he has the ability to really make things difficult for Jamal Murray. Right now, he is averaging a steal per game, 4.8 or 4.2 rebounds, excuse me. And he's also averaging 14.4 points for the Wolves. Bones Highland, he's another person that I'm really high on, especially off the bench. I think since Denver doesn't really have a lot of the same bench pieces as they once did, the Timberwolves have a unique opportunity to really control this game. If the Nuggets decide to go to more bench lineups, I also feel like the injuries with Aaron Gordon definitely has to be monitored. Because that was a big reason why they lost last playoffs is because he was in and out with injury, and I think he's been dealing with this way too long, to the point where it might impact how he's performing in the playoffs. So I think that's also another X factor that a lot of people should talk about.
Big. Shout out to Dante DiVincenzo too. I think he's also from Delaware, if
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
from
So yeah,
mistaken.
Delaware.
yeah, him
Yeah,
and
he's
from
from
Bones are like from
Delaware.
like the same place.
Yeah,
Word.
yeah. So making our way to the East, I know you're a Ohio resident now, John. The Cavs are gonna be playing the Raptors this playoff series. Now I know you're not the biggest James Harden fan. Um, so what's your reaction to I guess this Cavs now and or I guess this new look Cavs, excuse me. And if you have the Cavs winning this playoff series or if you have the Raptors winning this playoff series.
Man, I would like to confidently say, just because I am an Ohio resident currently, I would like to confidently say that the Cavs win this with confidence, but I actually feel like the Raptors are going to steal a couple games from them because the Cavs all season have played very good basketball, especially with James Harden coming and being on the team. And you know, Ray, that hurts me so much to say that good basketball with James Harden. But the one thing that they can't seem to do is close out games for whatever reason.
Yeah,
This was a
yeah,
problem in the playoffs last year. It's been somewhat of a problem throughout the season. And I think when you have Donovan Mitchell literally going out there and giving it his all, he's averaging almost 28 points per game. I think he's at like 27.8 or point 0.9, yeah, and almost 6 assists. Um, he is the ball dominant guy on that team. You know, he's the scorer. You want the
Yeah,
ball in his
yeah,
hands the most.
yeah,
And with James Harden being such a ball dominant guy, now he does get other people involved. A lot of the time, it's a lot of um, big passes. So he's either passing it to Jared Allen down low
yeah,
or
yeah,
Evan Mobley rolling things of that nature.
yeah,
There isn't too much guard to guard movement on the Cavs. When I've seen. Um, and the thing about the Raptors is that they play team basketball. They're a really good team when they lock in. They're really good defensively. They're long. Um, and I think, with Scotty Barnes at the helm, I don't know if they can win the series, but they can at least steal a few games from the Cavs. And, with that length, the Cavs bigs are going to have to, step up, or their bigs and their forwards. So Dean Wade's going to have to play
yeah.
uh,
Larry
well.
Nance,
Larry
you're gonna have to step
Nance
up,
might
bro.
have to get some, and then Nick Tomlins. I hope I'm saying bro's name right.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're gonna have to lock in and play well offensively because the Raptors, their wings are just, good.
yeah, yeah. Nah, kind of like to. I feel like I got the Cavs in six in this one, mainly because they're just more experienced. I feel like the Raptors have a lot of great young players, but I think playoff experience, at least in the 2020s era, I think it's proven to be very valuable. I expect Spider to have a great series. I actually expect James Harden to low key struggle a little bit against a guy like Jamal Shed. I really think James Harden is gonna have to turn into almost like a Sixers version of James Harden, where he's averaging like a double double throughout this series. I think Evan Mobley is gonna be someone that a lot of people need to keep an eye on in terms of just production. The Cavs right now they're sixth in offensive rating, so I feel like their offense is gonna come. I love their young players like Jalen. I think it's James Jalen Tyson, right? That's his first name, Jalen Tyson.
yeah. Mhm.
Keon Ellis, I think is gonna be really great defensively for them. And I also want to give a shout out to Tyrese Proctor. I feel like he's really underrated. So I just, they have a lot of interesting like 7 to 8 guys, and Kenny Atkinson. I used to be a Nets fan in 2019. You know what I'm saying? He know how to coach, bro. So it's like I feel like he's always gonna make things a little bit difficult, but I don't want to undermine the Raptors because they have a lot of different interesting pieces. And I know Cole, like one of your guys, is on there. So, do you have a different opinion, or you think, uh, you got the Cavs?
I got the Cavs. The Raptors have kind of owned me this year, man. I think I forget, right? Did I have the Raptors in the second playing game or just missing the playing? I forget, but it was low.
I think you had them at like 11. I think you had them at
I had
11.
them at 10 or 11. I forget.
Yeah, it was something like
I don't
that.
even hate that. I don't even
They
hate that.
they owned me this year. I didn't think their offense would be good, and to be honest, like maybe I'm like quadrupling down on it. Their offense has been middle of the pack this year, but they're the seventh best defense in the NBA. Shout out to Scotty Barnes, man. He's been just absolutely amazing this year. I still don't trust their offense come playoff time. I think that Emmanuel quickly was way better than I was giving him credit for this year.
Oh
So
yeah,
I think I was too much
absolutely.
looking at like the value he provides on his contract and like, yes, well, I wouldn't want him on my team like because I think roster building wise, he kind of caps you because he's like sneaky close to the rookie max. I think he's like 30 to 35 million a year. And I don't think he provides that level of value. He's still a really, really great basketball player. Kind of the same thing with Brandon Ingram. I kind of thought all these guys like were a little bit of like capping your value, but the thing is they have a really, really deep team. Like you talked about Jamal Shed, you got Sandro Mamushvili,
Yeah,
who's
Yeah,
Tricky.
he's
been
tough.
good
He's
this
tough.
year.
Yeah,
Jakob Poeltl's been good this year. My
Hey, don't
guy
forget your
Kyler
boy,
Murray
bro.
Boyles is good this year. I think that's what you're talking about when you said somebody.
Yeah, yeah, your
My guy,
boy,
yeah,
bro. That's your boy,
yeah.
bro.
So Kyler Murray Boyles, I absolutely love him.
Oh,
Yeah, there's been a really really deep team. But the thing is, I think you need a little bit more creation and star power come playoff time. And while I was high on Brandon Ingram in college, in the NBA in a playoff setting, I don't think he is necessarily the guy I want to be my go-to guy. Neither is Emmanuel Quickly and Scotty Barnes. While he is an All NBA level player, it's not necessarily for the offensive value he provides. And while he's not bad on that end, he's definitely not like a creator of any high level that you can like run your offense through come playoff time. So I think this is finally where it like comes back to bite them, but they've owned me this whole year. So
Mm.
with my luck, on my predictions for the Raptors, they're going to
The
the
Raps is
Eastern
gonna
Conference
end up
Finals.
making the
Yeah,
conference finals on another Kawhi shot.
right. Like
Yeah, man. Now our last matchup in the playoffs, probably the most suspenseful because we all know guys from this area. The Knicks against the Hawks. This is gonna be like kind of a really interesting series because I honestly can see it going both ways, like for real, like because this is gonna be an interesting matchup. But I wanted to get you guys' perspective first.
yeah, I think that first off, the Knicks wings are going to have it out for themselves trying to guard
Oh wait,
Jalen.
wait. Who do you have first? Who do you have first? Like winning? Like
So I've gone back and forth on this decision. I have Knicks in seven written down. And I think that the Hawks
That's
are
a good
going
one.
to
That's a good one.
I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been a whole lot better. Cole, you mentioned him earlier. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been playing out of his mind, and a lot of people don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
recognize it. I think that just they match up well against each other, these two teams. You got Dyson Daniels, who has taken a step back this year in terms of actual stats, like his counting stats. But when you watch the
Yeah.
film, he's still hiking up those shorts and getting in his stance. He's still really playing really good defense, especially
Mhm.
on um, main ball handlers. Um, and then I think that the main matchup woe is going to be is Cat going to cook a Kongwu?
I've
You
been
know,
thinking that same thing. I mean, he's the X factor, bro. He's
he
the
really
X
is.
factor for sure.
He really is. And if Bridges and Anunoby can kind of run dual defense where they're both kind of watching Johnson, I think that'll be great because that dude's not only looking to score, he's looking to, assist too. He's a great playmaker. So I think shutting down the creation that Johnson brings, and then also um, making sure that Jalen Green is, or not Jalen Green, what am I talking about? Jalen Brunson is hitting his shots,
Mm.
and Cat is hitting his shots. I think if all of those happen, then the Knicks will come out the victor. But it's going to be hard. It's going to, in my opinion, again, 7 game series.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is up there with Nuggets Wolves in my opinion. I had the Knicks in six, but I think it's gonna be an ugly six, bro. In this series, I feel like Nickeil Alexander Walker. I think he's a two-way player, so I think he's gonna give Jalen Brunson some problems. Dyson Daniels, I think is also gonna give Jalen Brunson some problems. So I think it's gonna really fall down to if, like you said, if Cat can really like produce. But I think Cat can. I've seen it before in the past. I know this year isn't his best year with the Knicks. He's averaging like I forget, I wrote it down. He's averaging
That's like
20.1 points per
20.
game, 11.9 rebounds, and he's averaging almost like 500 from the field. But I think in the playoffs, we've seen against the Nuggets, we've seen against Indiana last year, like Cat can really turn up to another dial if he's forced to. So I think that's gonna really prevail ultimately, but I think it's gonna be a really ugly 6 games. Cole, what do you think, bro?
yeah, I got the Knicks too. I think I'll be different. I'll go 5 games. I think like when you look at like rebounding and like turnover like differential, the Knicks are actually like the best possession team in the NBA. And the
Mm.
Hawks, they with this iteration of their roster don't have very much playoff experience. Like they just got rid of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Trey
that makes
Young, who
sense.
when
Yeah.
they made the deep playoff run, like was the leader and the engine of the team. And like while Jalen
I think
Johnson,
only like Okongu's the only guy on that team now, right?
I
Am I
was
right?
trying to think about it, but I didn't want to say something crazy. But
But
I
is
think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang, that's crazy, bro.
So
I think
yeah, like
Minka has a little bit of playoff background, but not for the team,
right,
obviously.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was more so thinking like Jalen Johnson, like being the primary creator, having playoff experience. And like Well, he has been great and an All NBA player and like a very fun player to watch as well. Um, I think a lot of that is transition dominance, and while that's very valuable in the NBA, the game does slow down and it's more of like a half court oriented game come playoff time. I know that's like kind of like a cliche, but it is true. Um, and I think when you get into that, I think that Jalen Johnson may not be as effective as he was in the regular season in his first like playoff series in this
Yeah, I can
role.
see that. Yeah.
So I think if you're the Hawks, like I think like it's like a really great experience to like get into the playoffs now and like give Jalen Johnson this opportunity, especially because you got the Pelicans pick coming in. Because I think he is a really good guy to build around, and I think CJ McCollum, like bringing him in, has really helped Jalen Johnson out. Same with Nikhil Alexander Walker's rise. I think Jalen Johnson like took a step back defensively this year when he was taking on a lot of offensive load, but I feel like recently, with Nikhil and CJ like taking some of the burden off him. I feel like he's like turned up his defense a little bit, in my opinion. I could be wrong on that. But that from what I've seen, I feel like he's been like more engaged recently. Um, so I think this is a good team. I'm just the Knicks coming off a conference finals appearance and like having that level of experience that the Hawks just don't have, I think makes me lean more toward the Knicks in this series. But I do think this will be a fun one. I agree with you, Ray. I don't think these games are just gonna be blowouts. I do think it'll be ugly, but I think it'll be fun though too.
Yeah. Also, I think another thing, I want to see, interestingly enough, kind of how Mike Brown plays Tyler Kolek, because I know he was really big for them in that cup run. So it's going to be interesting to see like how he'll be used, especially like if they choose him over Deuce McBride or vice versa. Because I think like little decisions like that are gonna be the difference maker in like what's an ugly game, or maybe they like give a game away, kind of like to when they played the Sixers and like you know what I'm saying, they did that one jump where they like kind of like fumbled it, you know what I'm saying? So like
Mhm.
it could be a lot of different factors, and I also think another factor might be home court advantage. You know, Knicks fans are everywhere, and I know in Atlanta like they were loud. And I know there was beef there too, so it would be really interesting to see like kind of like how this whole series will turn out. Especially given the previous rivalry. I feel like Atlanta's really rallying behind this team, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. So yeah, bro, playoff episode, man, like John, thank you for coming on the episode last minute. You know, for those of y'all watching, like we've been trying to make this happen for a long time, so it's fire that we actually got this, especially like it's such a big episode like this. Like it's real fire that I got to get you on here and even like tap into a great basketball mind. Before we go, you know, Cole always asks a question at the end of the show for our guests. And then, yeah,
All right. So my question for this one is we talked a lot about the teams that are playing now. Is there a specific player that you're watching that we haven't seen in a playoff setting yet that you're like really excited to watch them play?
that's a good question.
That's a great question. That's a great question. I mean, I mentioned dude I was really high on earlier, Dennis Jenkins, bro. I think Jenkins coming in as poised and confident as he's been as the primary ball handler, that dude is going to be problems going into the playoffs. And then again, the Thompson twins, like they've
Mm,
made the playoffs
Really
here
good
and
one.
there periodically, but we haven't seen them as like the guys on the team, playing for their respective teams. So I think that's going to be it's just going to be super fun watching them play. Uh, and yeah, I'm super excited for the MVP, Jalen Brown, as well. So that'll be exciting. So them three are my choices.
Hey man, before we go, bro, do you have anything you want to say to like young people that like want to get into basketball, maybe even like get into similar fields that you're into right now that are watching?
Hey man, never yeah, I have a few pieces of advice. Never give up on yourself.
Facts,
It's always a great idea if you think it's a good idea. Or well,
facts.
maybe I take that one with a grain of salt because sometimes you have a terrible idea that you think is good. Um, and yeah, man, don't get stuck. A lot of the times in the life that we live, I mean, shit, I work at a bank now, and I used to work in music. So a lot of the times it can kind of feel like there's a roadblock, but the thing that you need to realize is that it's a hurdle, or a lot of the times the wall isn't as wide as you think it is. You can just go around that motherfucker.
Mm.
Find
Yeah,
a way.
no,
So
that's real, bro.
man, those are my piece of advice.
Yeah, bro. Thank you again, bro. Like, where can I find you at, bro? And do you have anything like any endeavors that you want to shout out?
Yeah, man. So you can find me everywhere at JDitto. It's either JDITTO or JDITT0. Um, I make great music. My guy Ray Rags, we have some phenomenal songs. So whatever DSP that you use, whether that's Apple Music or Spotify or SoundCloud, you can check me out there. And
Facts,
yeah,
facts.
stay positive.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Thank you again, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be I feel like an interesting episode to look back on, especially when we watch the playoffs. You're always welcome back. We're gonna continue doing like, second round, conference finals, finals. So yeah, man. Let a game, man. Let a game pod. We here. We're still coming. We're going crazy this year, man. We're not stopping, bro. Stay blessed. You feel me? Keep grinding. Yes, sir. Ah!